Today we're going to be talking about one of the most controversial knife designs of all time, so stick around. Folks, we're going to deep dive today into a subject that is shrouded by controversy, by myth, by a lot of rumor, by a lot of just crazy stuff on the forums and in the community. Today we're going to be talking about the Tops Thom Browne Tracker 2. Now, today's video is going to be a little bit different than a lot of the videos that you see on the tracker. A lot of the videos you see them, they're out in the woods, they're using it, practical application, and that's fine. But I wanted to deep dive into the story about the Thom Browne Tracker and the mystery and the controversy that surrounds this. It's one of the most popular knife designs in production to date, but it's also one of the most hated knives, and a lot of folks think that it's just a movie prop. Well, we're going to do this video, and hopefully at the end you'll be better informed and you can decide for yourself. But first, what we're going to do is cut away. We'll do a quick specs rundown. I'll show you up close this Thom Browne Tracker 2, and then we'll take it on the stump top. We'll try to do it justice with some practical application the best we can here in the home studio. And then, as always, we're going to keep it real for some just down and dirty talking here on the channel. Folks, it doesn't get any better than this. Knives cloaked in mystery. You're here with me. The video starts now. First off, disclaimer, I am not a bushcrafter. I don't claim to be a bushcrafter. Obviously, my skills with the tracker tell you that I'm not a bushcrafter, but I do love this design. If you guys follow along on the channel for any length of time, you guys know that I love unique, just crazy, zany designs. I just do. And the tracker fits into that. Let's deep dive a little bit into the genesis of the tracker and some of the thought process that went into the tracker. The tracker design has been around probably close to 40 years. And there's a lot of controversy about who the real designer is, but we're not going to get into that in this video. Today we're talking about the Tops Tom Brown tracker version. But that'll be a conversation for another video that I've been researching. You're going to want to follow along on the channel for that. But with this one, the genesis came from the movie The Hunted. If you guys have followed along through pop culture with the tracker, you're more than well aware of the movie The Hunted with Tommy Lee Jones and Benicio del Toro. And that really brought this knife into mainstream, kind of like when Stallone did the First Blood movie and all of a sudden these big survival knives came on the scene. And with the movie coming out, the tracker was an instant success at Tops, who could mass market him, mass produce him, and put him out. It got numerous magazine covers and articles written about him, and it really changed pop culture. And you started to see this division in camps of folks that were in the camp of the tracker school and the other outdoorsmen. It was kind of this Hatfield and McCoy's mentality, which really didn't need to be. But Bushcraft USA had started a forum back in 2012. And this is how popular this design is. As of this date, that thread on Bushcraft USA, the tracker thread, has probably 350, 360 pages to it. Folks are still using it. It's more popular than ever. And I'll leave a link in the video description below to that thread, and I invite you to go check it out. There's a lot of really good content on there. There's a lot of old school YouTubers that were basically the plank owners of that thread that taught us how to use the tracker and think outside the box. The tracker is one of the few knives that actually come with its own operating manual. And this manual basically goes through some of the thought process about the tracker, and it tells you basically how to use it and what its intended use is. I've never had any other knife design, and I've been doing this for over 15 years. I've reviewed hundreds of blades on this channel. I've never had another knife design that you could download its own user manual for. And that one really intrigued me on that. So if you delve into the tracker, if you're even interested in learning about the tracker, you can go and download this PDF file. I'll also leave a link in the video description below for you folks as reference. There's a lot of cool material in here just on bushcrafting and stuff like that. I invite you to check it out. But I thought that was a really cool thing. In this video, I could sit here and I could talk about how it cuts, how it performs. You saw for yourself on some of the things. Is it a jack of all trades? That's a hard push. But it's definitely not a master of none. In the right hands, in the capable hands, the Tom Brown tracker, just like any other tool, is a viable option when you go out in the woods. Now, these knife designs, no matter what it is, it's going to speak differently depending on your skill set, depending on your experience, and depending on your thought process and your philosophy of use of how you're going to use something. But if folks are looking for something that is a little bit different, maybe a little bit of a challenge, maybe you want to push your limits on being able to use a knife and survival and bushcraft, this might be an option for you. Now, folks are going to ask, John, why did you pick the Tracker 2? Well, I own the Tracker 1 and I own the Tracker 4. I did a video on the Tracker 4, gosh, time flies by, probably 4 or 5 years ago. Very capable, small neck knife. I love that knife. The Tracker 1, in my personal opinion, I thought was just too big. It's a 1/4 inch of steel. It's heavy. It weighs almost 2 pounds. To me, it just doesn't seem viable as something that I would carry into the woods every day. If I was going hunting, fishing, doing whatever, just fill in the blank. It was just too big of a blade. Some folks are going to love it for that because you could use it as a hatchet. You could use it as a lot of different things. But I found that the sweet spot in the lineup between the 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I've held them all, is the Tracker number 2. It's the right size for me, weight, blade length, the ergonomics on the handle and such. And if you have medium to medium large hands, this may work for you. Your mileage is going to vary, and it's just like anything else. There's folks that are going to love the Tracker 1, there's folks that are not, and that's okay. There's something for everyone. Let's talk about the sheath for a moment, because if there's one part of this system that is, in my opinion, the weakest link, is the sheath. Now, I'm not knocking tops. The fit, the finish, the feel of the Kydex is just amazing. But, and I know you guys are going to roast me for this, but I do not like a scout carry. I just don't. I see the chances of getting seriously hurt out in the field just going off the chart. Folks are going to be out there. You're out there with guys. You're trying to impress your friends, and all of a sudden you're going to wind up cutting your back, putting a knife in the sheath behind your back. I've never been a fan of that stuff. I like cross draw and I like danglers, and I have a viable option for you guys. It is a leather sheath from Nate and Aaron Morgan over at Houghton Error. Now, these guys are the designers also of the Tops Brush Wolf that I did a video review on this channel. I'll leave a link in the video description below. Awesome design. I highly encourage you to go over and check that video out. But they're also artisans in crafting leather sheaths and such, and they do an amazing job on this sheath for the Tracker 2. It's just an awesome old school design. I like stuff that just gives that sort of vintage look, and it just has that outdoorsy feel to it. So I'm leaving a ton of links in the video description below. That's another one I'll put down there for you guys to check out. I highly suggest you check them out. I'm a big fan of supporting small cottage industry businesses. You guys know that if you follow along on the channel. Enough said about that, folks. Check them out. So the question I'm going to leave you is this. What's the allure of the Tom Brown Tracker? And only you can answer that, because somewhere in the middle of this love-hate relationship is where you find the magic, folks. It's your journey in knife skills and using different designs that is really going to set the bar for you. I can't say that. Only you can make that decision. If you're looking for something a little bit different, a little bit outside the box, something with a little bit of controversy, something shadowed in a lot of mystery, something that has a forum page with 300 and something pages on it, well, you found the right knife, the Tom Brown Tracker. Now the choice is just between 1 through 4 and what's going to fit you. Folks, I'll leave links to Tops if you want to learn more about this blade. I thank you so much for watching. Thanks for coming on this journey with me, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care, folks.